Just you and me today, big guy.
Well, first off, man, we got to start with welcome to episode 3
Yeah.
of The Gray.
Yeah.
We decided to go with just us today, just to catch up, see where life's at, see what's going on. So yeah, it's just us, but we got some guests lined up. But
We do.
if you're watching and you want to be a guest, just let us know. You don't have to have a mental health story or a
Yeah.
religious story because everybody has their own story.
We would like. I think I would enjoy having more different people, like different aspects in here. Yeah, like definitely people who are like maybe who aren't so religious, like you said, and see kind of like their viewpoints on like mental health and kind of how they deal with it. Because at the end of the day, man, like mental health is important. So is religion, but not everyone believes in religion, and even though we do, that's our big thing.
Right.
But but I just want to make sure that we give a space for anyone.
Well, that was the whole purpose, is create
Yeah.
a safe space for anybody to come
We
share
were
their
going to have
story.
someone last week too, but we had that storm happen last week, so
Right.
we couldn't do much about that.
Things happen, man, and it's a good opportunity to sit, reflect, see where we're at,
Yeah.
see, talk to you, talk to me, and see where you're at, see where your head's going, see what you're thinking. I know, like for example, you work in mental health, so
Yeah.
how's your job gone the past week or two with mental health? Like, what have you had to deal with? Without using names for
Yeah.
privacy, but what's going on?
It's been okay. I think for me, the biggest things that we had to deal with, in the past few weeks is in a school, dealing with testing, dealing with the reflux of like the crisis unit. Kids coming into the crisis unit.
Right.
We've had a lot of just a lot of different things that have happened. It's a normal routine as a case manager. We kind of see it at the end of the school year. Usually
Right.
kind of gets overwhelmed. Then the summer kind of dies out, and then when the school years come back, we're lacing up our bootstraps, getting ready to get back in because that's usually when all the referrals come in.
But don't you feel like a little bit though that, and I felt this way as an educator, we are not servicing our youth in the summertime as we should be
Oh.
during the school year.
I agree. As school teachers, and I will tell you what the best thing that the school does is they do that summer program where they offer food for the kids.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest things they do great for the community. And I do know that like every year, I work at Life Skills. A lot of people know that. But we always meet with Greg. We meet at the Greg Center, and we always meet with, at least Warren County, and try to come up with some type of like ways to help with mental health in school and stuff before the new school year starts. But I do agree. I think for summer, that's the biggest thing, is trying to figure out what can we do for people who need it more than what people like me who don't really need mental health. Like, let me rephrase that. Who aren't going through necessarily as hard time as other people are right now.
Well, the way I look at what I'm talking about disservicing our youth and disservicing our community is that we provide all of these tools. We
Mhm.
provide all of these resources as a school, as life skills, to our kids, to our adults during the school year.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more programs during the summer that enable kids to be involved, to do things as a group, to work on those social skills, to work on those soft skills that, we don't teach all the time. When I was teaching, that was something I did. I ran a summer camp every year. Maybe something that you and I might talk to Life Skills about or talk to our church about.
Which Life Schools does run a summer camp, but it's through Life Schools, of course. Every county has their own type of like summer program, and not trying to promote Life Schools so much, but they do have like a summer program. They do, like from Warren County, they do it for 6 weeks. It kind of keeps the kid in the kids in like a school like routine. So it's from like 7:30 until 2:30. But they every week it's like a theme. So like one week is like anger. So then every day we'll have like a different type of like theme for that anger, and then the next week would be depression and different stuff like that. And it's all just kids that are already in the program. We offer it to them, and if they qualify, they go, and then it's just a good program for anyone that's in life skills already, and usually who have been there for a while or are new.
Did you ever read the book?
That was my first job too, by the way, at Life Skills, was a summer program.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Did you ever read the book or read it with your kids, Scribble, where this crayon it's different emotions, different colors for different emotions, and it's how to regulate those emotions. If you've not read it, get that book. It's called Scribble, and it's got like a series with it about every emotion. It's awesome. I've loved it. I've used it forever. But the routine is huge for kids. The routine is huge for me. One of the things that I liked about the summer camps that I worked and that I ran is that it gave me a chance as a teacher to not have to worry about all those bureaucratic systems.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not in education anymore, so I can call you out a little bit, is that you got all this red tape when in reality, what's best for the kid? What's best for the person? So, I got a philosophy, and it's not always the best philosophy, but when it comes to my faith, is I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what's right, even if it's wrong. That means, man, the red tape might not be okay, but you know what? It's the right thing to do. It's the moral thing to do, to be there for someone, to love them, to meet them where they're at, no matter what they've gone through in life, no matter what they're going through in life. I think that that's something that we've lost as a society. We're always posting on Spotted in Bowling Green or Spotted in Scottsville or whatever. Look at this. Listen, it's none of your business. Quit posting it. It's none of your business. So
I don't even know what Spotted is.
Well, it's a very dramatic page on Facebook.
Is it kind of like Topics back in the day?
Yeah.
Is that what it's kind of like?
Well, but this is like actual pictures and videos that people post.
Oh, Lord.
There's some good things about Spotted in Bowling Green. There is. I love the guy, Jordan, that runs. It's great. Great. It's great. Some great things that come out of it. But for example, I just passed a house fire where someone had obviously died.
Yeah.
Before I could pass it, it was posted on the internet by just some random person.
Oh, man.
Like, look, it's none of your business. Like, these people's families are going to be dealing with the mental health of this. They're going to be dealing with the fallout of this. And, like, I understand and respect that you're nosy, but guess what? I don't care. It's not your business. Mind your business.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I get that. And it's like, it's sad because it's like reality now is people have to know everything. I feel like post-COVID, like when COVID happened, everyone, what I dare say, became an expert. Everyone they know everything. They know everything that goes on. They take everything for granted. Like you see on the news, it is always negative. There is never a positive outcome. There's always what fuels it. Like, for instance, I have a TikTok. People know that. I may get the biggest likes. I got at 400 likes, which is cool. I don't care about that. I do it because I want to read the Bible every day and everything. And the biggest video I got is about chickens. The lowest videos I got, am I reading the Bible? But at the end of the day, if I can touch one person, that's all I care about. And
we've talked about this, man. You can't be like talking about touching people, If I can touch their heart, like we gotta be more specific because we're in an age where everybody's watching what you say and do. So he's talking about touching the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
If I can lead someone to God, that's what I.
There we go. That's a better way.
That's what I want to do. My bad. Yeah. But the point though is it seems like people strive off of negativity instead of the positivity. Like when celebrities mess up, that's tabloid. Like that is everyone talking about it. And I could care less what Timbuktu is doing over in California. I could care less.
Well, technically Timbuktu is not in California, but
whoever, yeah.
Timbuktu is a place.
Oh, see, I don't even know that.
I mean, it's actual place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I just always heard the phrase.
No, it's an actual place.
Where's it at?
Look, it's in the Middle East.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry. Joshua is.
I'm a youngin', I guess, compared to this guy.
Young, green, whatever you want to call it, he's there. But I'm with him on that everybody focuses on the negative. When in reality, there's so many positives. For example, I'm going to throw Josh out on the bus right here, under the bus right here. He's on his way over here. He woke up late. Then he had a flat tire, and all of that's fine. He's like, I hate to be late. I'm like, look, dude, you had the capability and the know-how to change a flat tire. That's a positive. That's a blessing. Like, how many people don't,
They don't.
have that knowledge?
That's true.
So what you initially thought was, man, this is a rough morning. He wasn't mad or upset about it, but easily turned that into a positive. Is that, you know what? Maybe God kept me out of a wreck, but at the same time, God gave me the ability to change my own tire instead of having to call AAA or the roadside assistance, whatever.
Which is always a hassle.
Right, and then honestly, the road you're driving here, it's going to take them forever to get there. So
Yeah.
I mean, what I saw your struggle this morning is I saw that your struggle was a productive struggle in that you were able to overcome a small obstacle because God had given you the ability to overcome that obstacle.
Well, I also wouldn't have been late if I had just woken up in time too.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go there, but,
But
I mean,
it's true.
if you're going to call yourself out, that's cool. Like I said,
I take ownership. That's the truth. I just woke up in time.
Right, and he's a case manager talking about like routine and stuff, right? Like, look, I'm waking up at the same time every morning, boom, boom, boom. Doesn't matter what day it is. And I've been doing that since I was probably in college. Same time every morning, wake up, got my routine, get to work, so on and so forth. So I'm a routine person, and I'm all about the routine. So, man, tell me about your morning this morning. Like, you woke up late. Did you not set an alarm? Like, give some people some pointers. Like, it wasn't a bad thing. It's Saturday. You're allowed to sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's something that people struggle with, give them some pointers. How do you overcome that?
I think for me, it was 1, I stayed up late. 2, I didn't set an alarm at all. And 3, I just was comfortable in my bed this morning. And I had a long week. And I think that's one reason right there is I needed the little extra sleep. And I'm glad I did have a little extra sleep at the same time because I feel a little bit more awake and a little more aware, a little bit more energized today. And so for those who are trying to sleep in today, enjoy it if you can. Because, we don't get a lot of sleep. I feel like when I was working 2 jobs, I could sleep underneath my table at work and be fine. Like that's how it used to be for me. I used to work 80 hours a week, and anyone who knows me on here knows that I used to work at the hotel and I worked at Life Skills, and I was working 2 full-time jobs because my wife was in college, and so getting the hours in, I was grateful for the job I had.
Right.
Because 1, the hotel was very good to me.
Right.
Because it was technically, I didn't have insurance through them, and I didn't have the long-term or short-term disability or like workers' comp or anything like that. So when I had cellulitis and I was out for a month, they could have just let me go, but they didn't. They stuck with me. And so when I left that place, yeah, it was hard because it was an extra income, but it was so much stress that the only days I had off were Sundays, and that was all spent with me going to see my dad before he passed away.
Man.
So when I would get off, I would work to make it work. I would work second shift on Mondays and Tuesdays after I worked all day at Life Skills Monday and Tuesday, and then I would go in on Friday night. I would work a 3rd shift at the hotel, and then turn around and go back and work 2nd and 3rd. And so Sunday morning, dead tired.
Right.
But after I learned all that, I learned that when there's a struggle, I can get through it.
There you go. That overcoming personality, that overcoming gene is something that I don't think you're born with. I think that you develop that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that you either have it or you don't. But now I know it's developed. Like for today, for example, we're going to do this podcast. We're going to do this. We're going to have a good time. We're going to conversate. I'm going to make fun of you at least 7 or 8 times during this.
I take it well.
But then after this, if we have time, I'm going to go help my best friend mow the rest of the farm.
I saw him mowing in.
I mean, and if I don't have time, he's going to have it done before we get done. But I love the routine. I love that, showing up, getting your work done. I hate feeling like I've accomplished nothing during the day.
Yeah.
And that's just just who I am in my core. When I sit here and I think about guests for our podcast, and I think about people that could enlighten us, is what I'm looking for, man. Is I'm looking for any kind of story, from anywhere. I don't care what race, what gender, what ethnicity. I don't care sexual orientation. I want to hear about you and your story, because you have a story. Everyone has a story.
And we're going to continue to improve too. I think each week. I think we're going
I don't know what I can improve on. I'm pretty damn near perfect when it comes to this. Like, I'm really good.
Yeah, but when I'm
Not really, but
I'm saying, well, obviously people on here know I'm the post-production guy. I'm the guy who,
yeah, I ain't doing that.
yeah. So the biggest thing I want to do, and I guess this is I think we could do this once every month or 2 months. We could talk about what creative ideas we want to come up with. Is one thing I would want to do is give like an expose of a person who comes in, like give them like a 5-minute window just to talk about what they want to talk about, with maybe a different backdrop, and maybe that'd be something, in time, as we get better, we'll have more. Hopefully, we'll get more sponsors. We'll get more stuff that we can.
Well, one thing I want your feedback. If you're watching, I want your feedback.
Yeah,
Give me names.
I love me some feedback.
Give me names of guests. Give me some ideas about backdrops. Give me some ideas about where to take this, what to do with it. I'm with Josh. I want these people to be highlighted, because one of the first episodes that we had is we talked about what's the most successful moment you've had.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have never really experienced that successful moment. We talked about that my successful moment might be smaller than yours, or yours might be smaller than mine. I've been very blessed to do a lot of things, but we want to celebrate even your small wins. And, I know that we do a lot with church, and, with people going through rehab and people that have been in drug court.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I love that. And I'm going to keep doing that. You're going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And the Dream Center is amazing. But what about those people that didn't go through drug court? What about those people that didn't have to go to AA? What about those people that didn't have to go to jail? They have a struggle story too. We celebrate sometimes people that have come from the what we think is the lowest low, but in reality, everybody has a different lowest low. So I want to hear about your lowest time. I want to hear about how you overcome that. And if you've not overcome that yet, I want to help and give you resources like mental health counselors to help you overcome your lowest moments. Because to me, that's my passion. It's people, it's relationships, obviously it's talking, and making sure people feel loved no matter their background.
Yeah. And our mission statement says it best. Like, there is a fine line between the dark and the white and the dark. Like, we need to. I'm not saying
what he's saying is that not everything in life is black and white.
Yeah, black and white. That's what I meant.
Most things in life are gray. Yeah. I think in society we think things are black and white. Like, this is wrong, this is right. Oh, the law says this. Oh, well, our procedures say this. But hold on, time out. That's, to me, again, about doing what's right, even if it's wrong. Because there is so much gray in the world. Like, you can't look at a person and be like, oh, I know how they are. I know what kind of person they are. No, you see the black or you see the white. You don't see the gray, all the areas that they had to go through, all the things that they've overcome, and you don't see their story. I did a segment one time when I was teaching, and we called it My Story. And we did that for that reason, is that there's so much gray in the world that I want to understand your story. I don't want to see the high and the low. I want to see the high, the low, and everywhere in between, because that's who you really are. That's who you are at your core.
Yeah. And so what I was getting at with the gray part it's just like what you were saying. It comes down to, why do we always reflect away from that? Like, because it is the most important part of our life. It's what carries us. It's what makes us who we are. It is exactly the pure part of what we are doing every day. So, like, for instance, you're a teacher. You used to be a teacher. You are
right.
very passionate about everything that you do.
Right.
I'm I'm a case manager. I'm very passionate about what I do. But we didn't just get here into to the spot that we are now just because. We had to go through something. We had to, like, for instance, I wanted to be a teacher too when I was in college, and then I changed my mind again.
It was a good decision.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I didn't. But no offense,
It's a
teachers.
very
But it comes down to it's one of those things where job security versus being happy is a big thing. And I feel like for me, a lot of people take the comfortable job, right?
yeah.
And for me, I like my job, but I'm always looking for improvement. I'm always looking to improve my job. I'm always looking to have a better job. Like, that's just how it always goes. And if we aren't willing to move forward or actually do better for ourselves, then we're going to be, dare I say, in the gray and stuck and just still. But we have to sit there sometimes. And then when we do get to where we need to go, guess what? That feels so much better than when we just have been given or handed stuff our whole life. Or we just take things for granted all the time.
You know,
You know what I'm saying?
I think just to touch on what you're saying is that we lose sight, and you talked about the gray being whatever you called it. It's the fabric of our life. It's the fabric of our life because we focus so much on the destination, where I want to be, where I want to go, the house I want to have, the car I want to drive, but we forget about the journey. But in reality, the journey is the destination because you really don't know where you're going. You know where you want to go. You know the jobs you aspire to do. And yes, you're always trying to learn and be better at your job or look for a new job. But the journey is what really molds us into who we are as a person. And I dare to say this is that the most impactful thing you can do in life, is love others. Mm-hmm. Love others where they are. And another thing I'll say is mind your own business. Like, love people where they're at. Quit putting your nose where it doesn't belong.
That's the biggest truth in the world right there. Man.
Like, quit putting your nose where it don't belong and just enjoy life. We wake up in the morning and we're like, man, I got to do this, I got to do that. But wait a minute, you can still draw breath.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you have a roof over your head. Or wait a minute, you have a car to drive. Or you have someone that loves you. We got to focus on those positive things. And we got to help people to understand that, you know what, you may be in the dark area right now. I'm going to help you navigate the gray, your journey, to the light because I love you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to invest in you. Now, am I going to tell everybody I love them? No, because that's weird. But I'm going to love you where you at.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing you touched on is the idea of, like, minding your bit. It's just no one knows how to control gossip. It's always gossip, and they live and breathe off of it, and it's sickening, in my opinion, of course. Some people,
No, it's sickening. I don't care if it's an opinion. I have to tell you, it's gross.
Some people think it's normal, which is odd. But one thing that I wanted to touch on with you was when you think about our daily lives and we talk about the love that we have for God. I do want to bring up God again, okay? Where I find, and I want to take an opportunity to say this live, is where people...
We're recording, we're not live, but go ahead.
You know what I mean. Where people can watch us.
Okay, go ahead.
Is where, as Christians, I find, we are bound to spread the word of God, okay?
Right.
But we are not in the place to judge the people that we spread it to. And I want to put that emphasis out there because I've talked to some people this week and I've been like, that don't sound right. Because when we say, hey, we want you to come to church, God said in the Bible, that's our only job to do, is get people to come to church and get souls to God, right? But it's not our job to say, well, that person's living in sin. Because who is not living in sin, right? Like, who's not living in sin, right? Everybody is. And for us to point our fingers and say, hey, you're living in sin, then you are.
All right. Well, look.
And sorry about that. Or
No. I like it. I like what you're saying here, and I'm going to jump in on what
I'm just
you're
very
saying
passionate
here.
about it because it's annoying, and I got really annoyed this week with it, and it's just
All right. Well, let me jump in here for you. Okay. I'll give you an insight, and most people that know me know that I just really don't care. I'm going to say what I want to say. Most of the time, it's pretty thoughtful. Most of the time, it's pretty loving. Sometimes it's not. It's just straight out rude. But that's okay. Uh, we talked about, we people to bring to church. We need you to come to church. I agree with that, but I disagree with that. In that
okay.
the church is not a building.
No.
The church is a body of believers. Too often times we think of the church as a building, and we think of you have to be here to experience God. Yes, come here because there's more of us here. There's more people in this area, in this one room that are worshiping. But I'm also with you on the quit judging people. Quit judging people. Quit putting your judgments on them because, and I love it. Did Jesus ever judge? No.
No.
No, like
He could have, but he didn't.
He who was without the first, who was without sin, cast the first stone. Like, whoa, hold up. What he's saying is that what you just said is that why are we saying they're living in sin? They're living in sin. You are too. Like, I'm gonna call you out. I don't care. I'm gonna call people out right now. We could talk about that drug you do. We could talk about that drink you drink, but we ain't talking about that extra chicken wing you eat. That's gluttony. That's the same sin. But we ain't gonna talk about that on Sunday. We ain't calling you out for having too many rolls after you had your dinner,
I mean, trust me.
or eating dessert. Like,
I'm right there with you.
I'm just saying that everybody has something in their life that they're sinful about, whether it's lust, whether it's envy, whether it's alcohol, drugs, food, no matter what it is. So quit judging people based on what their sin is, because you have it too.
Yeah.
Remove the beam from your eye before you remove the splinter from someone else's.
And remember, just because someone doesn't see it doesn't make it a sin.
It actually makes it more of a sin.
Yeah.
Actually,
It makes it more. And I found guilty. I've been guilty of it myself. I mean, a lot in the past. And I feel more guilty whenever I know I'm doing it alone. Like, for instance, like if.
What's he gonna say?
No, I'm talking about. When
I'm kind of scared.
No, it comes down when I'm talking about like, for me, it was doing drugs. When I was in college and stuff like that, I felt
so not like yesterday, like in college, right? I'm just trying to help you out here. I'm just trying
like
to clarify.
in college.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify for
in
viewers.
college.
Yeah. All right, good.
Back when, but for me, it was sitting in that room. I didn't feel as guilty when I did with other people, but for some reason, when I did it by myself, I felt really bad about it. And there was something pulling me about, should I be doing this or not? I have a different stance on it now as an adult, in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother journey. But it comes down to, it's the idea of like, we need to be respectful of each other's boundaries. And it's like what you said, mind your business.
Amen.
And if you want to go to church, go to church. I didn't go to church for 2 years because I had my own experience that I didn't like. But guess what? It took my atheist friend, to tell me, I need you to go back to church. Because I think you belong there, because you strived better when you went to church. And for me, that hit me hard, because it meant I'm ministering to this person without ministering to this person, because he hears me talk about God.
Right.
He sees that I post videos.
Right.
I got some people I didn't even respect who don't care much about Christianity, who have came up to me and said, Josh, I appreciate your podcast, and I appreciate your videos that you post, because you're trying to be human about it. And I am. I'm no expert at reading the Bible. And if you ever watch my videos, if you guys ever watch my videos, you'll see that I'm no expert. I just read it, and I read it for what I take from it, because I want to be real about it. I don't try to read it before and then record it. I try to be real time. This is how I took it. I want to know what you guys think. Bam. Because at the end of the day, everyone's going to take the Bible the way that they take it.
I'm going to say this about we're talking about church and, Christianity, and we're talking about, our perspective. I love our church. I love our
I love
church.
my
I
church,
love
yeah.
the things that our church stands for. Are there things that I don't like? Absolutely. I'm not going to say I love everything, but it's going to be with any institution you go to. You're going to have things that you agree with, things you don't disagree with, and that's okay because overall our church loves people.
And that church knows that too.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing for me is that I have a heart that is huge, and you don't know that till you get to know me. You think I'm just an arrogant sob until you get to know me, and then when you get to know me, you realize that I care about people. I don't judge. I may poke fun of people that are my friends or others out there, but I'm not judging you based on what you've been through or what you've gone through. I've said it before. One of the things that I told my kids, and I say it at the end of every episode, is that if nobody's told you today, if nobody's told you today, if nobody's told you, your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, I don't care. If nobody's told you, you do matter.
Mm-hmm.
You matter to somebody. You matter to us. You matter to people. You matter to God. You matter. So, Josh, we're getting close to our time frame here, man. Let's wrap it up, and let's wrap it up with you give me a word of wisdom. I'll give them a word of wisdom, and we'll be out of here.
Okay. I wish I were more prepared for that. No, I'm just joking. If this week, a new week coming up, and this be posted, hopefully at a decent time during the week.
Unless he's asleep still. That flat tire was just karma for falling asleep longer.
Probably.
But go ahead.
But if you're struggling this week, do know that there are people who can help you. There are people that you can go to. God is the number one person that can help you, in my opinion. As a mental health professional, I will say that boldface, God is the number one person who can take care of your needs if you just reach out to him and allow him to take control of your life. 2, if you're not a religious person, please go seek help if you are feeling depressed, if you're feeling sad, if you don't know what to do in your life. There are plenty of professionals out there who can help you and guide you and give you resources to help you. And 3, I love you, and I think the world of you guys, and I appreciate any support that we get from you. And me and Jonathan are trying our hardest to make sure to give this the best production we can do. And we would do every week. We would try to strive to spread the word of God and spread the word of the mission of what we want to do, because that's the most important piece. And that's why, if you live in the Bowling Green, Allen County, Logan County, Smiths Grove, Simpson, Edmondson, the 10-county region, the Barron. I'll call it the Barron region. If you're in my job, it's the Barron County region. It's the 10-county region. We need a mental health podcast, and I think as far as right now, there might be another one, but I think we're the only ones, and we really want your help to spread it so that we can get people who are key people on this podcast to spread what they need to spread.
All right, well,
that's what I have.
I'm going to end this with, I said a word of wisdom. He went like 3 words of wisdom, 1, 2, and 3, and then he went into like talking about what we do and all of this. Like, I appreciate that. However,
whoever thought I had a long-winded conversation for me?
I do. I think he has a long-winded conversation. All right. So my word of wisdom for you is that your journey is not over. It is that simple. I don't have a million things to say about it. Your journey